Jack lived in a small cottage. It was a quaint little home with a thatched roof, nestled in a serene rural setting. The cottage was surrounded by lush greenery, and it exuded a sense of peace and tranquility. It stood at the edge of a large forest, a vast expanse of trees that seemed to stretch endlessly. The forest was dense and teeming with life, a stark contrast to the quiet simplicity of Jack's home. He loved the trees and the animals. The forest was his sanctuary, a place where he felt truly alive. The towering trees, with their thick canopies, provided shelter to countless creatures, and Jack cherished every moment he spent among them. Every morning, Jack would greet the birds. Their cheerful chirping was his wake-up call, and he would step outside to see them fluttering about. He had a special bond with the birds, and they seemed to recognize him as a friend. He would leave out seeds for the squirrels. These little creatures would scamper around his feet, eagerly gathering the food he provided. Jack took great joy in watching them, their playful antics bringing a smile to his face. Jack knew the forest was special. It was a place of beauty and wonder, a living, breathing entity that needed to be cherished and protected. He felt a deep connection to the forest, as if it were a part of him. He wanted to protect it. He helped injured animals. Whenever he found a creature in need, he would nurse it back to health. His compassion knew no bounds, and the animals seemed to sense his kindness. He kept the water clean. The forest streams were crystal clear, and Jack made sure they stayed that way. He would often spend hours removing debris and ensuring the water remained pure for the wildlife that depended on it. Jack was a guardian of the wild. He watched over the forest with a vigilant eye, always ready to defend it from any harm. His presence was a reassuring one, a symbol of protection and care. The animals knew he was their friend. They would come to him without fear, trusting him completely. Jack's love for the forest and its inhabitants was evident in everything he did, and the bond he shared with them was truly special. One day Jack heard a noise. It was a soft whimpering sound. He followed the noise. He found a young deer. It was caught in a trap. Jack carefully freed the deer. Its leg was hurt. Jack knew just what to do. He gently carried the deer back to his cottage. The forest was dense, and the path was narrow, but Jack moved with purpose. The deer, though injured, seemed to trust him, its eyes calm and steady. Jack had always felt a deep connection with the animals of the forest. As he walked, Jack heard a low growl. His heart skipped a beat, but he continued forward, his senses heightened. The forest was alive with sounds, but this growl was different, more menacing. In the shadows, two eyes glowed. They were piercing and unblinking, watching his every move. Jack knew he was not alone. A large lion stepped into the path. Jack stood very still. The lion's mane was majestic, and its presence commanded respect. Jack could feel the power and grace of the creature. He held up a hand. Slowly he raised it, hoping to show he meant no threat. The lion's eyes followed his movement, curious but cautious. "I mean no harm," he said to the lion. His voice was calm and steady, a stark contrast to the tension in the air. The lion seemed to understand, its posture relaxing slightly. Jack knew this was a moment of trust, a delicate balance between man and beast. The lion watched Jack from a distance, its eyes filled with curiosity and caution. It was a rare sight to see such a majestic creature so close, yet so calm. The lion could see the injured deer lying helplessly in the forest clearing. The deer had been hurt, possibly by a fall or an encounter with another animal. The lion lowered its head, almost as if it was acknowledging the struggle of the injured creature. It seemed to understand the pain and vulnerability of the deer. After a moment of contemplation, the lion turned and walked away, disappearing into the dense forest. It chose not to interfere, respecting the natural order of the glade. Jack, who had been watching the scene unfold, approached the injured deer cautiously. He knelt beside it and began to care for its wounds, using the knowledge he had gained from years of living in the forest. Over the next few days, Jack tended to the deer with great care and patience. Eventually, the deer regained its strength and was able to stand on its own. With a gentle nudge from Jack, it returned to the woods, ready to rejoin its herd. Jack smiled as he watched the deer disappear into the trees. He felt a deep sense of satisfaction and peace, knowing that he had made a difference. The forest was a place of harmony and balance, and Jack was proud to be its guardian. He knew that as long as he was there, the glade would remain a sanctuary for all its inhabitants.